If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit the red subscribe button now. The 1931 China flood stands as one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. It was a tragedy of almost incomprehensible scale, an event that reshaped the landscape and the course of Chinese history. Before we delve into the cataclysm itself, it's crucial to understand the geography that made such a disaster possible. China's history is inextricably linked to its great rivers. These waterways have been the cradle of its civilization, providing water for agriculture routes for trade for, millennia. They've nourished its people and its culture. But these same rivers have also been a source of immense sorrow and destruction, earning names that speak of their destructive power. The story of the 1931 flood is, at its heart, a story about these mighty, unpredictable rivers. China is dominated by three major river systems that flow from the high plateaus of the west to the fertile plains of the east. In the north, there's the Yellow River, or Huanghe. It's often called China's sorrow because of its long and devastating history of flooding. Its waters carry a massive amount of yellow silt, which raises the riverbed over time. This means the river often flows above the surrounding plains, contained only by man-made dikes. Further south is the Yangtze River, or Changjiang. This is Asia's longest river, a vital artery for transport and agriculture. While generally more predictable than the Yellow River, the Yangtze is still capable of immense flooding when its massive drainage basin is overwhelmed by rain. The immediate trigger for the 1931 flood was a period of extreme and, anomalous weather. The years leading up to 1931 had been marked by a prolonged drought which had baked the soil hard and lowered water levels in the rivers and lakes. This dry, compacted earth had a greatly reduced capacity to absorb rainfall, meaning any future downpours would result in immediate and rapid runoff. A hidden vulnerability, a landscape primed for flash flooding. The winter of 1930 to 1931 brought unusually heavy snowstorms to the western mountains, the headwaters of the major rivers. As spring arrived, that massive snowpack began to melt and surge downstream. Beginning in spring 1931, weather patterns shifted dramatically. Instead of normal seasonal rains, China was hit by an astonishing number of cyclones. Between June and August, an unprecedented 9 cyclones swept through when typically only 2 would occur in a year. These storms brought torrential, relentless rainfall widespread across the central plains. The saturated ground could not absorb more moisture, and every drop flowed into tributaries and main channels of the Yangtze River, Huai River, Yellow River. In July 1931 alone, some Yangtze Basin areas recorded over 600 millimeters, 24 inches, of rain. Rivers, swollen by melting snows and record rains, began rising at an alarming rate. The disaster unfolded over several terrifying months. By June 1931, heavy rains had already caused localized flooding along the Huai River, and in the lower reaches of the Yellow River. Water levels were dangerously high, but the main dikes were, for the most part, holding. However, the situation was becoming increasingly critical. Throughout July, torrential downpours intensified across the vast Yangtze River basin. Gauging stations along the river began reporting record-breaking water levels, day after day. In the city of Wuhan, a key metropolis, located at the confluence of the Yangtze River and the Han River. If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit the red subscribe button now. The water rose steadily, inching closer to the top of the protective dikes that surrounded the urban center. The breaking point came in August. On August 19th, the water flowing past Hankou, one of the 3 cities that form modern Wuhan, reached a level of 16 meters 53 feet above its normal height. The aging dikes, battered by weeks of relentless pressure from the rising floodwaters, finally gave way. The breaches were not small. Entire sections of the earthen walls collapsed, unleashing a torrent of brown, churning water onto the surrounding plains. The city of Wuhan was completely inundated. The exact death toll from the 1931 flood will never be known for certain. It is universally regarded as one of the most lethal natural disasters in human history. The initial wave of flooding caused a massive number of deaths by drowning. When the dikes collapsed, often in the middle of the night, entire communities were swept away with no warning. The force of the water was immense, demolishing simple mud and wood homes. Official figures estimated about 145,000 direct drowning deaths. Modern historical analysis suggests that is a significant underestimate. The chaos and collapse of government functions made accurate counting impossible. The drowning was only the first chapter of the tragedy. The greater loss of life came in the months after the flooding. Floodwaters destroyed the summer and autumn harvests across China's most fertile regions. That led to a catastrophic famine affecting millions. Food reserves were washed away or ruined. People had nothing to eat. Reports describe widespread starvation. People were forced to eat tree bark, weeds, whatever else they could find to survive. Social order broke down under the strain of mass starvation. Alongside the famine came rampant disease. Stagnant floodwaters became breeding grounds for pathogens. The long-term consequences of the 1931 flood were profound and far-reaching, fundamentally altering Chinese society and politics. The immediate aftermath was a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. The nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, based in the now-flooded capital of Nanjing, was completely overwhelmed. Attempts to organize relief were hampered by the sheer scale of the disaster, the destruction of infrastructure, ongoing military campaigns against communist forces, and regional warlords. This perceived incompetence and inability to protect its people severely damaged the government's legitimacy, particularly among the rural peasantry who had suffered the most. Internationally, the flood prompted a significant global humanitarian response. Famous figures like the American aviator Charles Lindbergh and his wife Anne Morrow Lindbergh flew survey missions over the flood zone, bringing the scale of the disaster to the world's attention. The memory of the Great Flood became a driving force behind China's modern engineering projects, a tragic but powerful legacy etched into the landscape and the national consciousness. If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit the red subscribe button now.